You know, you hear it all the time. Is getting wealthy just about being lucky? Hitting the jackpot? Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise. We're breaking down a disciplined, step by step path to building some real, lasting financial success. Let's jump right in.
So let's just tackle that big question head on, shall we? Is getting rich really just a matter of luck? Like a lottery ticket? I mean, it's a nice idea, right? But the reality, well, it's actually way more interesting. And believe it or not, it's a lot more in your control than you might think.
The truth is, there's a massive difference here. The myth says it's all about chance, just random luck. But the reality, for pretty much everyone who builds real wealth, it's not luck at all. It's a process, a deliberate one. It's about developing valuable skills, making smart choices, and having the discipline to stick with it over time.
Okay, so that brings us to our first foundational pillar on this path, and it's a big one. You've got to develop valuable skills. This is really where the whole journey kicks off. It's not about what you already have, it's all about what you can do. So, what exactly makes a skill valuable? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. It's basic supply and demand. A valuable skill is something that solves a big problem for a lot of people, but not a lot of people actually know how to do it. That gap, that scarcity, is exactly what creates its financial worth.
For instance, think about the programmers who build the apps we use every single day, or the business managers who keep companies running smoothly. These aren't just jobs, right? They're high-demand skills, and they get paid more for a simple reason. The need for what they do is way bigger than the number of people who can actually do it.
All right, let's move on to our second pillar, because this is where it all starts to connect. Earning money with your new skills, that's awesome. But, and this is a big but, it's only half the battle. What you do with that money, well, that's just as important.
This quote right here just nails it. Wealth isn't really about your paycheck. It's about what you manage to keep and what you invest. Your income is just a tool. Real wealth is built in that space between what you make and what you actually spend. And this really shows you the two different ways of thinking. You can have someone earning a ton of money, but if they spend every penny, they have very little wealth. And then you have someone with a more average income who ends up building serious wealth just by consistently saving and investing. It's a huge reminder that your habits, not just your salary, build your future. So what happens to the money you save? Well, it can go down two very different roads. Path number one is spending it on stuff that loses value. You know, like a new car that's worth less the second you drive it off the lot. The other path is investing it in assets that can grow in value, like stocks, real estate, or a business. One path drains your wealth, the other one builds it. Simple as that. Now for our third pillar. And this is where things can really start to take off. It's all about breaking that classic link between your time and your income. Let's talk about the incredible power of scale. Okay, so the scaling effect is a total game changer. Think about it. A normal job pays you for the hours you put in. With scale, you build something one time, maybe a product, a service, some kind of content, and you can sell it again and again and again. Suddenly, how much you can earn isn't limited by the number of hours in a day. And this is where it gets really exciting, right? Imagine creating a digital course that sells to thousands of people while you're literally sleeping, or building a clothing brand that ships orders around the clock. The basic idea is the same. You disconnect the work from your time, and that's what allows your income to grow in ways a salary never could. So, we've talked about skills, managing money, and the power of scale. But honestly, none of it means anything without our fourth and final pillar, the one thing that holds this entire structure together: good old-fashioned discipline. And this is just a huge reality check. We live in this world of instant everything, so it's easy to think wealth should be instant too. But real, sustainable wealth, it's a long-term project. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's all about showing up day after day and sticking with your plan, especially when progress feels painfully slow. Just look at this timeline. The journey isn't some straight shot to the moon. It starts with years of just learning a skill. Then maybe you make your first investments. A business launch could be, 7 years down the road? And the real powerful multiplication of wealth, that might not even kick in for over a decade. It just goes to show you that patience and determination are your most valuable assets here, for sure. So, how do we put this all together? We've walked through all the pieces.
And now you can really start to see them as a clear, actionable plan for building your own financial future.
So let's just recap the 4 pillars one last time. First, develop valuable skills that solve real problems. Second, manage your money like a pro by saving and investing. Third, find a way to scale what you do so you're not just trading your time for money. And finally, you got to wrap all of that in the discipline to stick with it for the long haul.
And that really brings us to the end. We've laid out the path, the 4 pillars are right there, so the only question that's really left is the one on your screen. It's not about doing everything all at once, it's about starting somewhere. What's that one first step you're going to take? Thanks so much for joining me.